Finally, I'm right on time. That's like the first time in like weeks that I've been right on time. But we'll be talking about Aaron Rodgers after this. We'll be talking about top guys that I want the 49ers to look at in the second round in the NFL draft, all after this. Guys, the season's over. It's start like we need to start looking at newer and other things. So this show is going to be about a bunch of different things. We'll see you guys. Well, a bunch of different draft things and just Tom Brady talking a little bit about that and some breaking news in the 49ers coaching. They've been making a lot of moves. So we'll talk about all of that after this. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Camper Report with your host, Benjamin Camperman. 49ers, obviously, season ended a week ago. I had a stream with Amin on Thursday. Yesterday, I was going to do this, but couldn't because I was very sick. So couldn't do it then, but here we are today. And 49ers out of the playoffs. Obviously, still one more game. I didn't even watch the Pro Bowl today because apparently it was very boring and just terrible, which is what I expect it to be. Last few years have been terrible. Ever since the NFL banned the tackling rule, I feel like it's gone down every year. Like ever since they banned tackling in the Pro Bowl, I feel like it's gone down every year, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it was just a player's decision just not to tackle because they don't want to get hurt, which is something I understand, but at the same time, it's not really a fan thing anymore. It's kind of like a player get together. So I mean, let's get to the first thing I wanted to talk about. Linemen to watch for in the second round of the NFL draft. These are guys that I think the 49ers could really need. I'm strongly on the 49ers getting even though they probably can't cut Mike McGlinchey, I really feel strongly, or trade him because nobody wants him. I really feel strongly on the 49ers drafting a offensive lineman in the second round. Now, you can say we got Aaron Banks has to do something. I don't think we're going to draft a offensive lineman in the second round because we've already gotten Aaron Banks. We've already gotten what's the other guy? The other guy that we got in the fifth round, I can't remember his name right now, but we already got those two guys. So I do not think the 49ers will get another offensive lineman in the second round, but it's fun to fantasize. I think they should. So let's get to the first guy. Obviously, there's really, when you're looking at offensive linemen, like last year, you could have been saying we could get a top 3 offensive lineman in this draft. This year, you're looking more towards the bottom of the top 10. You're more looking at spots like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 kind of things, like all of those prospects at the bottom of the top 10, right? So you're looking at bottom prospects. Obviously, in the next few weeks, I'll do cornerbacks, like who the 49ers should get in cornerbacks, like in the second round and stuff. So I'll rank all of these, so I'm not really going to be focusing on the top 5 offensive linemen. I'm more going to be focusing on the bottom half of the top 10, more towards the 10 to 12 range, 7 to 12 range kind of thing like that. So I'm not going to be focusing on the other positions in the line. So let's get to the first one. Obviously, there's a bunch of guys that the 49ers could get, and I think they're going to try, obviously, I'll get into it later, but I think they're going to try to trade up for someone. That's what they always try to do. So let's get to the first one. Nicholas Petite Freer from Ohio State. Again, this might take, obviously, what the 49ers need. They need to trade up. They probably need a tackle. If they need an offensive lineman, they probably need a tackle. So I'm looking at most of the tackles. Now, most of these guys, if you look at their film, they are going to be probably a left tackle, right tackle kind of thing. A lot of them are going to be left tackles. So, but we've seen teams make the switch. So these are just overall tackles. Doesn't matter if they're right tackles, which we need a right tackle, but maybe we'll make the switch with them. Maybe we'll be like, and the 49ers did, their offensive line coach, I think they fired. So 49ers, so these are mainly left tackles, but hey, they could switch. So this one, Nicholas Petite Freer from Ohio State, is a guy that I think they're going to have to trade up for. But remember, they now have 3 first-round picks because after losing Mike McDaniels, they got 2 compensatory third round picks. So they could trade up with 1 or 2 of those first round picks. His big board rank is 57th. So that means he's ranked 57th among all prospects. Again, I think a lot of offensive linemen will be going this year because it's a deep offensive lineman class. So the 49ers might have to trade up a few spots. They have pick number 61. So I think they're going to have to trade up a few spots for him. I basically watched this film. Really good guy. I mean, the thing is I'll name another name that I really like. He's so this guy's name among all tackles, he's ranked number 7, Nicholas Petite Freer. And then there's another guy ranked number 10 whose big board ranks 66th, Kellen Dash from Arizona State. Now, let's compare these two guys. The one thing that I like more, I like Nicholas Petite Freer from Ohio State over Kellen Dash from Arizona State because Kellen Dash is a little bit lengthier. He's 6'7", but he's lighter. He's 300 pounds. And doesn't that remind you a little bit of doesn't Kellen Dash, when I name his weight and height, remind you a little bit of Mike McGlinchey? Because Mike McGlinchey isn't very big, but he is lengthier. So, and the other thing is Kellen Dash, if you look at these two guys' scouting reports, let's quickly look at the Kellen Dash scouting report. So 6'7", 300 pounds, okay? Compared to Petite, whatever his name is, compared to the other guy, Petite, hold on. Nicholas Petite Freer from Ohio State is 6'5". Nicholas Petite Freer from Ohio State is 6'5", I believe 315. So a little bit heavier, and that's a good thing. Let's see here. So, I mean, again, he's a good pass blocker. Let's talk about Kellen Dash for a minute. He's number 10th, ranked 66th on the big board, draft board. But I mean, good foot quickness, but what I saw from his film is sometimes he'll get beat. Like, sometimes he is a little bit slow. He's also not the greatest run blocker when they did run the ball. Good foot quickness, body control, and recovery balance to stay attached to blocks. So that's very key. Smooth on his climbs, pulls, and leads in space to track, intercepts, come to balance and fit on smaller targets. So, definitely very handsy, a good pass blocker. Shows above average hand placement and grip strength to find his latch inside the frame of defenders and eliminate space through shed attempts to clean up the read for runners. So does a nice job getting low at the point of attack and being thick on double teams to create initial movement while overtaking smoothly to cover up color. So, I mean, he's a good pass blocker, but obviously the negatives, obviously has an upkick out of his stance, which can be a little bit bad at times because you can get beat at times. Looks to have a below average length on film. That's another thing that I saw is when you look at him pass block, not very long arms. So, can shore up his timing on releases off combo blocks, which is another thing. That's a lot of times where he will get beat from. So different things like that. Obviously, he's not supposed to be better than this Ohio State guy because Ohio State guy is ranked like 3 spots above him. And again, Petite Freer, I like him because he's bigger. He definitely pushes guys around a lot more. I feel like he's faster than the other Kellen Dash from Arizona State. So check out the Ohio State guy. Let's see. We got a comment in here. Oh, okay. Anyways, check out the other Ohio State guy. Really love him a lot as well. I mean, there's different games you can watch from Nicholas Petite Freer. Some games he was really good, sometimes games he was really bad. And this is a scouting report from him. Explodes out of his stance with impressive and suddenness and has good foot quickness, which is a great thing that the 49ers need. The 49ers ultimately at this point need a good run blocker who is big. That's great. That's Nicholas Petite Freer. And they also need a fast pass blocker, which they don't have in Mike McGlinchey. Can get on top of rushers quickly in his jump set with the length to establish first meaningful contact. Excels on the backside of zone runs. That's key because the 49ers run a lot of zone runs. And closing space on targets at the second level thanks to his lateral quickness and athletic ability. So a lot more athletic. I saw from Kellen Dash a lot more athletic. The Petite Freer is a lot more athletic than Kellen Dash and a lot better of a run blocker, especially outside zone, which is what the 49ers need. So the negative though, choppy, loud feet with disjointed footwork in his pass sets that leave him persistently off with his landmarks, unbalanced and out of position against rushers who know how to set up their moves. So that is something that could be key because Kellen Dash, on the other hand, it says does have that. He has very good awareness of where his defenders are and it gets very handsy and his footwork's very good. So if you're looking for more of a not as physical, and lighter, but if you're looking for more of a footwork kind of guy, you're looking for Kellen Dash. But if you're looking for more of an athletic, heavier kind of guy, you're looking from Nicholas Petite Freer from Ohio State. So those are two kind of like comparisons that I have for those two guys. Let me know what you think. So Nicholas Petite Freer from Ohio State is a guy that we could get in this maybe by trading up. And then Kellen Dash, probably by staying there, we could get Kellen Dash from Arizona State. So those are two guys that I had on my mind. And then there's like the guy from Miami. Look him up real quick. His name is, I looked a little bit of his film today, Zion Nelson. So he's pretty good too as well. So I've spent way too long on this topic, but those are basically my analysis of those two linemen. So those are basically the 49ers. What offensive linemen the 49ers should consider watching. So next one, top 3 landing spots for Aaron Rodgers. This was a thing that obviously Aaron Rodgers might leave the Packers. He's a guy that I don't know, we're not sure. His status is kind of unclear, but at this point, I think he will leave the Packers at this point. I think so. I think he's done with it. I think he's done with not getting past the second round, never getting to the Super Bowl. He hasn't been to the Super Bowl in 10 years. All of that, yada, yada, yada. So here are my top 3 landing spots. I think a sleeper, let's start with my sleepers. I think the Colts are a big sleeper because I'll pull up the cap situation right now, and it's very key. I'll really quickly pull up the stat situation. So the Colts are have the 7th most cap space. So that could be key because the Colts could be a main contender. Now, you have Denver, who's even better, 5th most. But the Colts, they have a good system. They have a good running back. And really, you could argue with a better quarterback, the Colts could have been one of probably the best team in the AFC if they weren't already with a better quarterback. They have a good defense. They have pretty good receivers. Really, the Colts, if they want to make a run at Aaron Rodgers, they would be the main team because they have the most cap space. So those are sleepers. Cleveland could be another sleeper to get him. They would probably have to get rid of Baker Mayfield, but they could be another sleeper. You could have Washington football team. Again, Cleveland is 11th in the cap space, so they're kind of a good team. Washington is 10th in cap space, so both of those teams I think need quarterbacks. I don't think at the end of the day Cleveland and Washington get him, but those are sleepers. But now onto my top 3. Number 1, the Broncos. I think this is a team that a lot of people have talked about, but it makes the most sense. It really does. In their standpoint, they have good receivers, very promising running back, good defense, a coach that Aaron Rodgers has familiarity with. So He wouldn't have to spend too long knowing the system. That's a big plus. So talent-wise, this team could be almost better than the Packers talent. They also have some of the most cap, and that's the difference between them and the Packers. Is the Packers, if you look on this list, are 31st in cap space. Well, like they are basically behind the Saints. The Packers are the worst team. They're the worst team in cap space. So they don't have really a lot of cap space to sign Aaron Rodgers unless he's willing to take a very low deal, which he's not going to be willing to take. Again, Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure, is a free agent this year. So it's only going to be teams that have the most cap space. So it doesn't really seem realistic that he returns. The Broncos, it does seem realistic that he goes there just because they have a ton of cap space. Number 2, the Steelers. This is a team that 12th on the cap space list. So they're the 12th team with the most cap space. They need a quarterback. They're going to make a run at a quarterback. I know it. And they obviously lost Ben Roethlisberger. I think they're going to either make a run at Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. So that could be another key team that maybe they make a run at. And then number 3, the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, I do not. I see. And again, the Packers are going to be looking for AFC teams. So they're going to most likely ship him to an AFC team, whether it's the Titans, whether it's the Broncos, whether it's the Steelers, whatever. But they're not going to be shipping into an NFC team. The only reason why I say the Buccaneers is maybe you could see a possibility where they bring in some guys, they have talent, and Aaron Rodgers says, hey, they have a good coach, they have a pretty good talent. Now, the Buccaneers are losing a lot of guys in free agency this year, so they're kind of screwed. I don't really see the Buccaneers as a main landing spot for Aaron Rodgers, but let me know what you guys think. I don't think so. So that's the Buccaneers. I wouldn't say they lose. I would say they lose. Obviously, Tom Brady retired. We'll get to that later, but Buccaneers are going to be kind of screwed next year. So those are my 6: Broncos, Steelers, Buccaneers, Colts, Cleveland, Washington. So yeah, those are my 6 really teams that I say, and maybe Tennessee. There's been rumors swirling about that, but I have no idea, because if you look at Tennessee's cap space, first thing, Ryan Tannehill, they would have to offload. They would have to offload Ryan Tannehill, which is key because that's going to be hard to do. I don't think he's a free agent. Tennessee right now is 27th in cap space. They're 27th least team in cap space. So they don't have a ton of cap space to spend. So that, I don't know about that one. Yeah. So 49ers, next one we have to get to is 49ers getting Anthony Lynn. This is key because I think this is really a move for Trey Lance. I'm finally glad that they're kind of like building a team around Trey Lance. They're really focusing on Trey Lance, unlike last year. I think Anthony Lynn's a good signing. Remember, Anthony Lynn, I think, in my opinion, was involved in developing Justin Herbert just a little bit. I think Justin Herbert with Anthony Lynn for the first, 1 or 2 years was with Anthony Lynn when he was a head coach. I think Anthony Lynn really helped Justin Herbert a ton. Again, he's a run game specialist. That's what he's been known to do. That's what the 49ers need. Again, 49ers lost Mike McDaniels, and that's key, but this will kind of replace Mike McDaniels in calling the plays. So they kind of replaced him, but also I think this is a great guy because I think this really will help Trey Lance, because I think Trey Lance needed a guy like Anthony Lynn, a guy who has had experience with developing quarterbacks. So this was very key, I think. Yeah. So that's big. And I mean, again, I'm glad to finally see that the 49ers are admitting their mistakes, because remember, the 49ers are also lost Richard Hightower, which, yeah, their special teams coordinator. Yeah, their special teams coordinator was good in the playoffs. I mean, they were pretty good. They were the reason why they won that divisional round playoffs. But the 49ers were not the reason. Like, the 49ers special teams sucked most of the year. So I'm glad to finally admit that the 49ers are admitting their mistakes and are not retaining some of these guys like, what's his name? Richard Hightower, and they're bringing in guys to maybe focus in on a little bit more Trey Lance-centric coaches that will focus in on their quarterback that they will have for the next 10 years, hopefully. So glad to see that they're making these major coaching changes because, again, they've already gotten rid of Richard Hightower. They fired their tight ends coach. They've gotten Anthony Lynn, and then they've also gotten rid of Mike McDaniel. And it's going to be interesting to see what the 49ers do. Obviously, this is big because the 49ers now have 3 third-round picks in the third round. They have 2 at the end of the third round and then 1 mid-third round pick. Mike McDaniels is the Dolphins' new head coach, and the 49ers get 2 third-rounders for him. This is key because now the 49ers can trade up with those third-rounders. They now have a second-round pick, 3 third-round picks, a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, and 3 7th-rounders. So they have 10 or 11. Let me see. I'm trying to think here. I think they have 12 picks. So, yeah, they don't have a first-round pick. But, again, the 49ers do good in the later rounds. So now they have later-round picks that they could hit on, and that's key. That's really key. So that's big. But I'm interested to see who the 49ers get. Maybe the 49ers have to get rid of Scangarello. I think they have to. I think he really doesn't make any – I don't think you can keep Scangarello. It's going to be interesting to see who the 49ers get as their quarterback coach next because they need somebody else than Scangarello, especially in the development of Trey Lance. They need somebody else. So, yeah, that's a big thing as well. But that's a big thing for the 49ers, and congratulations, Mike McDaniels. This is big for him and a big moment for him. So, big moment. So the last topic I have before I get out of here, this is not a great time to do a show because a lot of you guys are probably eating dinner. Not a great time to do a show, but I was going to give it to you this morning, decided not to. So, whatever. And then yesterday I couldn't. So not a great time for a show, but whatever. We'll, get the content to you guys anyways. This is a thing that I said on the Cone Phone today, Grant Cone's show. How the 49ers, how the Tom Brady retiring will affect the 49ers. Now, I'm sure you guys have already heard of this retiring. It happened days ago. I think it happened 4 days ago. But I haven't really touched on how this will affect the 49ers and the NFC. You're now potentially having Aaron Rodgers going to the AFC or retiring, and you're having Tom Brady retiring. So now you're looking at 2 quarterbacks, 2 of the greats, 2 quarterbacks who have terrorized the NFC for the last, Tom Brady for the last 2 years and Aaron Rodgers for the last, 10 years. Now you're having 2 quarterbacks who have terrorized the NFC for so long, now leaving. NFC's wide open. Yes, you still have the Rams. But the Rams again are gonna take a step back because they're gonna be over the cap. They're gonna have to get rid of players. They're not gonna be the same. I don't think so. I think this year was a one and done year. So yes, you have the Rams, but the Rams team to a lesser extent. So yes, you have the Rams. But really, other than that, you don't have that many good teams that really could come up. You're going to have these sleeper teams that, yes, will do good, but I'm not really afraid of the Cardinals. So this year was really the perfect year to implant Trey Lance. It's a good year to implant Trey Lance because really you don't have any of the good quarterbacks in the AFC anymore. The NFC is not going to be that good anymore. It's going to be wide open for the 49ers to take. So this is a great, I think, time for Trey Lance to take over because now the 49ers have to play all the third-placed teams. So now you're playing all the easier teams in the divisions, supposedly. So now you're playing the 2 third-placed teams, and you don't have as many good quarterbacks. And you're having potentially Russell Wilson as well going to the AFC. So, again, that could be really key for Trey Lance and how good they do this year. And I think that's another thing. I think the 49ers could go 12-5, 11-7. 11-12, 12-5, 11-6, because Trey Lance, again, could have an easier route to the playoffs because the NFC is so much more wide open. So that's a key thing. And that's something that I think is going to be very important. So, yeah. Well, that's the end of my show, everyone. Thank you all for watching. Again, I'll probably be back later on this week with maybe Jake Ellenbogen. I'll try to figure out some guests. Maybe I'll take a little bit of a break. I'll probably, again, Wednesday night, don't forget, Wednesday night, going on with my brother Joseph to discuss the Super Bowl. But after the Super Bowl, it's going to be a little bit dead, not going to lie. So I'll break down some players. But again, this year, I'm not going to be as involved in the NFL draft as I was last year, because last year we had something to look forward to. This year, we're going to have to really be taking a deeper dive into the prospects. Last year, we were excited because last year there was the 3rd overall pick. You know what I'm saying? So last year, last year was a lot more exciting because we had a 1st round pick. We had a 2nd round pick. We had a third. But this year, it's like, we're not going to be really looking into the draft until the 2nd round. So this year won't be as exciting. So probably after the Super Bowl, I'll be taking a little bit of a break. Then I'll be breaking down some players, but not as exciting this year. So whatever, but there'll still be a little bit to talk about this year, and we'll try to figure some things out, try to get some good guests on. So yeah. That's what I got to bring for you guys today, but thank you all for watching. Again, I'll be back on Wednesday with my brother Joseph to break down the Super Bowl game. That should be pretty fun. CJ, shout out to Shardal Gupta, Sports Talk channel, does a lot of great things on there. He says, I love your content. Thank you a lot. We'll see you guys later. It's been a lot of fun. We've been here for the last 30 minutes, and I'll be back later on this week. So see you guys later, and peace.